Hey folks, welcome on here and do a quick solo episode. This one is going to be on the concept of pressure. Before I get into it, just to let you know that I'm still out there looking for a sponsorship. I'm not too desperate. I just want to make sure I have the right person or working with someone going forward, maybe in the medium term or long term. They can add a watermark on either side of the screen, up here or here. I just double check. Hats, I have a sweatshirt, a pair of glasses. These are prescription glasses, by the way, from Specsavers. I don't get sponsored to say that, but they do have beautiful frames at the moment. I got a 2-for-1 deal. I have a phone, technology, and also a laptop. And if you're looking to contact me, it's under, let me just double check, episode 12, under ryanwconlon@gmail.com. That's RYANW and then CONLAN@gmail.com. And yeah, we've gone through some interesting solo episodes to date, solo shows. After Maddie Dixon podcast, we had the podcast sponsorship opportunity. We had artificial intelligence, career breaks, mental health, Black History Month, functional medicine, digital entrepreneurship, World Happiness Report, grit, money, rugby, Guinness, family, performance, and now pressure. Some things that have been top of my mind over the last while. So we'll get into it. And pressure can be used in a lot of different contexts, but we'll just touch upon it first. One sec, let me just look it up. There's a number of different ways to look at pressure. First one is, when I looked it up on ChatGPT, it says, pressure definition, pressure is defined as the force exerted per unit area. In mathematical terms, pressure equals force over area. It is typically measured in units like pascals, PA, where 1 PA is equal to 1 Newton per square meter, N/M squared. Pressure can be exerted by gases, liquids, solids, and it affects it affects things like the behavior of fluids, hydrodynamics, the structural integrity of materials. I'm laughing because this isn't maths, and this level of I suppose maths isn't my forte, or isn't my thing. Wouldn't be my strengths, but still I do like maths or numbers. But I'm not used to coming on a podcast and talking about sort of the engineering, mathematical side of things, or mathematical as it says. Yeah, excuse me. And it's also, anyway, we won't get into that. The structural integrity of materials and even atmospheric conditions. For example, atmospheric pressure is the weight of the air above us pushing down on Earth's surface. Hydraulic pressure in fluids is used to transfer force in machines like car brakes or construction equipment. Would you like to dive deeper into how pressure works in a specific context? Pressure in life, business, or sports. We'll take it out of the mathematical context. Perfect. This is great. Okay, perfect, not M. Excuse me, trying to get rid of all the M's. Pressure in life, business, or sports. Pressure in life, business, sports all share some common characteristics, but each area has its own unique challenges and its ways of dealing with it. Let's break down how pressure manifests in each. Pressure in life. Pressure in life often comes from external and internal sources. External pressures could include financial responsibilities, family expectations, or societal norms. Internal pressures may involve personal goals, self-doubt, or perfectionism. Challenges. People may feel overwhelmed trying to balance work, relationships, personal growth, and their mental well-being. There's also pressure to meet certain milestones, e.g., career achievements, owning a home, etc. Coping strategies. Stress management techniques like mindfulness, setting realistic expectations, and maintaining a support network are common ways to handle pressure in life. Developing resilience and learning to accept the things that always won't go as planned can also help. And this is number 2, pressure in business. In business, pressure comes from various sources. Deadlines, competition, financial targets, client demands, and the overall need for profit and growth. The pressure to innovate and stay relevant in a fast-changing market is also significant. Challenges. Entrepreneurs and business leaders face constant pressure to make the right decisions that affect the future of their companies. They're There's also pressure to lead teams effectively, manage risk, and deal with public perception. Coping strategies. Successful leaders often rely on strategic planning, delegation, and clear communication. Developing a strong company culture and maintaining a work-life balance are also key factors in managing business pressure. Time management and staying focused on long-term goals can prevent burnout. Pressure in sports. Pressure in sports can come from coaches, fans, teammates, or personal expectations. Athletes often deal with pressure to perform well, win competitions, and achieve personal or team goals. Challenges: high stakes games, intense competition, and the fear of letting down teammates or supporters can create a lot of stress. The pressure is often magnified in professional sports where performance can dictate an athlete's career and public image. Coping strategies. Elite athletes often train not just with their physical bodies, but also their mental toughness. Techniques like visualization, positive self-talk, focusing on the process rather than the outcome, working with sports psychologists are common ways to manage pressure in sports. Handling pressure also involves staying in the present moment and not getting overwhelmed by the what-ifs. Common threads across all areas. Mental resilience. In all three areas, developing mental resilience is key to handling pressure. Whether it's pushing through a difficult day at work, managing the stress of competition, or balancing personal life, resilience helps individuals bounce back from challenges. Goal setting and focus. Setting clear, achievable goals and maintaining focus on what truly matters can reduce feelings of overwhelm and help navigate pressure. This is true in business, life, and sports. Support systems. Having a strong support system, whether it's friends, family, teammates, or colleagues, plays a critical role in alleviating pressure. Sharing the load with others or seeking advice from mentors can provide clear and emotional support. And then it states, how do you usually handle pressure in your own life, whether it's work, sports, or just day-to-day situations? Let's go into the work and day-to-day. If someone's going through it and work and day-to-day, we already touched upon sports, and I know Leinster Rugby's been on the show a good bit, and rugby's been chatted about, and there's other sports I think some touch that we've spoken about briefly. Let's just... BJJ with Sam McNally, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and we chatted a bit about some other things. I think Swish, table tennis with Colin, and yeah, there was a sport with Swish as well. It was dancing. Excuse me. That is Champions by Kanye West, Gucci Mane, Big Sean, 2 Chainz, Travis, and it just popped in. But anyway, yeah, we're 8 minutes to the show, so I don't want to get too sidetracked. Yeah, so pressure at work and day-to-day life builds quietly, and it becomes a part of your routine. It can feel harder to notice and harder to manage. Here is a clear way to understand it and practical strategies to handle it effectively. Pressure at work. We've already talked about this. I don't want to get into too much. But yeah, it says pressure at work. Pressure usually comes from deadlines, expectations, workloads, and your own desire to perform well. Common sources: deadlines stacked too close together, high expectations from bosses or yourself, too many tasks, too little time, office politics or difficult relationships, fear of making mistakes or falling behind, how to handle it, break tasks into smaller pieces. Large tasks feel overwhelming. When you break them down, your brain sees progress, not pressure. Prioritize realistically. Use a simple system: must do today, should do today, can do later. This stops you from treating everything as equally urgent. Communicate early if you're behind or overloaded. Speaking up early reduces pressure and builds trust. Most stress grows because people stay silent until it's too late. Protect focus time. Block short, uninterrupted periods, even 25 to 50 minutes. One focused block is worth is worth hours of scattered multitasking. Number 5, detach your self-worth from your performance. Pressure intensifies when you believe, if I fail at this task, I am a failure. But tasks are tasks. You are not your to-do list. Pressure in day-to-day life. Daily pressure shows up in form of routines, relationships, responsibilities, and internal expectations. Common sources: trying to keep everything in order, managing family or personal obligations, feeling like there's never enough time, comparing yourself to others, overthinking or self-criticism. How to handle it: build small release valves. And I feel like I'm kind of saying a lot of things, but don't know if they're really resonating, so I'll just be mindful of that. How to handle it: build small release valves. Daily moments that reset your mind. Short walks, 5 minutes of breathing, listening to music, drinking water intentionally. Those micro breaks prevent pressure from piling up. Simplify decisions. Decision fatigue is real. Reduce choices where possible. Plan outfits, meals ahead. Keep routine simple. Automate bills or recurring tasks. Small simplifications dramatically lower day-to-day pressure. 3, set boundaries. Pressure grows when you feel responsible for everyone else's needs. It's okay to say, I can, but not right now. I don't have the capacity today. 4, use the 2-minute rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. It keeps small tasks from snowballing. 5, be kinder in your self-talk. A lot of daily pressure comes from internal criticism. Ask yourself, would I talk to a friend the way I talk to myself? And then it goes, and I suppose this is the last thing I'll talk about because I feel like I could be rambling a bit. On the Sunday, it says at the very end, a simple framework that works in both work and daily life. Pause, assess, and act. Number 1, pause. Stop reacting automatically. Number 2, assess what exactly is causing the pressure. Be specific. Number 3, act. Choose the smallest next step, not the perfect one. This keeps pressure from turning into overwhelm. And it goes in to say, what types of pressure are you feeling most right now? Time pressure, performance pressure, expectations from others, or internal pressure. I can give strategies tailored to your situation. I'm not a life coach, so I won't get into this. Just one key takeaway for me is something to help me overcome a lot of stress, which I find a lot of the pressure in my day-to-day can cause stress, or the hormone cortisol can be released. If you go back to the definition of pressure, it has a mathematical definition. Let me just go back. Just to be touched upon, pressure, not the mathematical meaning. I suppose this maybe be the one thing. Pressure is the feeling that you must do something, often because of expectations, responsibilities, or consequences. We may have touched upon this. It is the mental or emotional force you feel when a situation demands more from you than usual. In simple words, pressure is when life feels like it's pushing on you. Examples: pressure from others, your boss. We were talked about this in the work situation. Pressure from situations, pressure from yourself. How pressure feels: tight chest or tension, racing thoughts, feeling rushed, worried about disappointing someone, feeling like you can't mess up, or you can't, stress or anxiety. The difference between pressure and stress: pressure equals demand, something is pushing you. Stress equals reaction, how your mind and body respond to that push. Pressure doesn't always cause stress. Some people perform better under pressure, like athletes or performers. But in short, and I suppose this is the final last thing, in short, pressure is the emotional and mental force you feel when something important is on the line. If you want, I can different types of pressure and how to manage it and why people feel it differently. So that's what I want to come on and talk about today. In a real way, how I personally alleviate pressure is my self-talk, is how I chat to myself. I used to be pretty self-critical. A lot of expectations internally. Not internally, that's maybe not the best word to use, but a lot of high expectations, which is great to have high standards, but I think it needs to be balanced, like we talked about in the previous podcast about the key to overall. Let me just look it up. But I think it was the key to performance or sustained performance. How about here? Yeah, that emphasizing the need for balance in performance, and it was maintaining a healthy approach to performance is critical for overall well-being. I think that's what I want to touch upon here, is the stress and pressure feeling like something's forced upon you or pushing against you, or I think it was something that is pushing you, is one of those things where a lot of it for me comes internally. A lot of this my inner self-talk, which I've gotten better talking to. Almost there's a house track, house music, the friend within. So yeah, and that's what I come on to talk about today. If you're feeling a lot of pressure out there, maybe just go a bit easier on yourself and be a bit less. I'm not a coach or a life coach or a therapist, but for myself, as being a little less self-critical. Thanks, folks. I just wanted to come on and share that.